caliber. She's a performance artist and a director. And recently, I'm going to name drop, she's been working with our very own Banksy. Yeah. And Danny Boyle of many, accolades.
Did you meet Banksy?
I didn't meet Banksy.
But I met one. Probably I did. I don't know.
Is he in
But
the
I
audience?
met Danny Boy for
Is
sure.
he in the audience tonight? He might come see you.
So after the set, the eight songs? Pieces. Thank you, 8 pieces. We're going to we do that, and then we're going to do the little bit of celebration with our cake, a few photos and so on. And then Riham has said that she's willing to stay and talk about her work and show, I think, a couple of videos, Alternativity.
The work that I did with Danny Boyle.
Okay, the work she did with Danny Boyle. And if anybody wants to stay after the show and go a bit deeper with what Riham's doing, then we're very happy to stay on.
Okay, just if you hear me say the kubba, this is what he referred to. So just to make the link. The kubba of Jaffa. Fetch me الثوب حبيبتي. From the old chest with the silver clasps, and sit down here with me and listen to my story. Ah, Jaffa, Jaffa, how I miss you. I love to run free as a ghazal, حبيبتي. Past the camels resting and the boats pulled up on the beach. Splinters of the morning sun dancing in the sea, my bare feet in the surf and the wind in my hair. Or walk in the cool moonlight through the orange groves with the scented blossom. Quickly past the dark shade of the cypress and sit at Mama's stool, embroidering al-kubba. What do you see in it, Habibti? All that I saw in Jaffa. A coffee bean, orange petals, a moon like a pointed star. The Pasha's tent, our house with 2 stories, with a ladder to reach, and feathers, feathers everywhere, and looking inland the rising mountains of Al-Quds. Oh, how my eyes strained and fingers ached, till Mama made me go to bed. And I dream of the day the merchant would cut the cloth and I'd ride to my bridegroom on my white horse. Then the Jews with guns came, and we crowded the boats. My precious kubba in my school satchel, until sick from the waves, we landed safe at Gaza. So my dress was made. Though my mother didn't live to stitch on the pieces, and it's not the linen of Majdal, but what the souk provided. keep it safe, Habibti. Keep it safe. This will be your wedding dress, inshallah. And your daughters, for the day will be free from the river to the sea. Thank you. I decided to sing a love song, but it has also some melancholy and some kind of missing home as well, which I think would be a nice wrap up for this evening. Okay, enjoy it. بيني وبينك يا هالليل في حب وغني على بابك تقعد يا ليل وبنسهر ليلي بيني وبينك في أسرار وبتعرف أحزاني ابقى امرق لعهاك الدار وقله ما ينساني فوق البيت العتيق غافي على الطريق غافي حد الزمان يمكن بكرة الحبيب يمرق مثل الغريب ما يحسب اللي كان بيني وبينك في أسرار وبتعرف أحزاني ابقى امرق لعهاك الدار وقله ما ينساني غافي على الطريق غافي حد الزمان يمكن بكرة الحبيب يمرق مثل الغريب وما يحسب اللي كان بيني وبينك في أسرار وبتعرف أحزاني ابقى امرق لعهاك الدار وقله ما ينساني
I am a theatre director, performance artist, and an actress. I've been acting since 2006 or 2005. 2012, after my long period of acting, I joined an MA degree at Goldsmiths in London, performance making. And then from that time, 2013, I came back to Palestine and I started to do more independent work. So not just acting for other theatre productions, I wanted to do my own work. I'm based in Beit Sahur, a town also in Bethlehem. I founded my little gallery, like I call it Art Salon, in my great-grandfather's house. I teach as well drama and theater practice in university at Narrated Art College, so I'm a teacher as well. And I do my own work as an artist, as my practice. I'm a multidisciplinary, as you've seen, like I sing, I dance, I use video in my work. And yeah, I mix all of these mediums together in a performance, because I really love also visuals and video particularly, and music. There's a lot that I can share with you about my work, but then I said, I'm in Bristol. I worked with this, the Alternativity last year, 2017. It was, I think, broadcasted December 2017, so a year and a half. So I thought that would be a nice thing to share with you. And then if you have any questions, if I met Banksy or if I didn't meet Banksy, you can in Bethlehem there is the Waldorf Hotel. Have you heard about it?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's Banksy's hotel, and he founded it, I think, 2015 or 2016. I don't know. And he advertises it as the worst view ever. Of course, it's by the wall. But to give you the context of that area, is like there is the wall, but it's also the checkpoint that kind of from all, like if I want to go from Bethlehem to Jerusalem, then I have to pass this checkpoint, which is a big checkpoint, segregation checkpoint. And in there, I cannot pass if I don't have a permission. So in a way, it's in a very critical place. And as well, there's also a refugee camp next to it as well. I'm not a big fan of that hotel. So in a way, the manager of this hotel calls me one day and he tells me, the manager who is a Palestinian, who's also from Bet Sahur, and he tells me to come and meet this amazing director, Danny Boyle. And then I said, of course, if it's Danny Boyle, I'm going to come. And then this all you can see on the documentary, because the BBC were also filming this whole process for Danny Boyle coming and meeting with me and doing this work with Banksy. So the idea was, Banksy wanted to do a nativity story at the car park of his hotel in an alternative way, which brings up the politics of the nowadays. Because Bethlehem in your heads is a beautiful biblical story, probably not in your heads, but in most Christian heads. But actually what is happening now in Bethlehem, that there is Christmas, but there is also occupation. So we were trying he wanted to do this kind of a twist of the modern nativity. He emails Danny Boyle and he tells him because you're like, if he can come to Palestine and direct this work, because he made the Olympics very appealing to the UK people, and then he can do the same thing at the car park. Why? Because the car park of his hotel is really by the wall. Nobody would want to come and see a play by the wall. So Danny Boyle comes, and then he asks for a Palestinian director to work with, and he meets with me. I am at a point he tries explaining me this project, and and then he asks me, what do you think about Banksy? And I say, from where should I start? Kind of. Because really, literally, I was very honest to him. I told him, like, I respect Banksy and I respect all his work, what he done, but I think I'm critical a little bit about this hotel, because I really don't like this idea of using the wall as kind of an attraction and coming to paint and then coming back and then going back home. So it's a bit, and then sometimes taking photos and going back home, it's a bit sensitive, like using the wall in that context, as in marketing or as in business. That's my side, and there's a lot of Palestinians who who agrees with me. They don't like that use. But there's other side that say, no, it's great, it brings in more tourists to the place, there's more people who can be aware. But I think, in my humble opinion, that engaging with the community is like what you're doing, guys, and like going to refugee camps and really engaging with the community teaches you more than just going to the hotel. But yeah, that's my opinion. So we did the play, and I agreed to be there because I said, okay, so there is Danny Boyle, there's Banksy, there's the BBC, everybody has their own view, but also, if you want to engage in a Palestinian context, then it should be a Palestinian context. So I agreed to be there so as to put the voices of Palestine really up, and not just to follow what any other agenda wanted to put Palestine on the BBC. Because I was thinking also that it will be for a UK audience, an international audience. So one of the things that I feel like I was proud of to do in that the BBC for the first time, I think, in terms of doing a show about Palestine, they were not neutral. Which means that I said directly to them, boycott, I am with BDS. You cannot put me as a Palestinian artist and then decide to go to Israel and put an Israeli context and then put it in one documentary. You cannot. If you're doing a show about Palestine and in Bethlehem, you should show the story of the Palestinians. And that was a strong battle to do until, of course, like the producers were a bit like, I needed to educate them a little bit about what is BDS. So it was a long process. So I wasn't just the artist in there, I was also the activist in that sense. I also tried to put different kind of talents because I didn't want to show, the poor kind of Palestinian, what they can do, how they are living in Bethlehem. I wanted to show that there's a lot of amazing talents in Palestine and in Bethlehem especially, because this is where the story is, and bring them on surface. So we decided to make just like a kid play, like a children play, but in a context that already like the politics of the place can be very political, just doing that play and the wall is around you is political, so we don't have to make the kids be very political, so we just let them be kids. So we had it in a modern time, like the angels were like, having mobile phones, texting each other. Mary will be, they texted Mary that she will be born, that she will have a baby, a Jesus. So it was really playful. And I had a choir of 60 kids, also singing, coming from backgrounds from Christians and Muslims, which is a great thing because like that's not shown on media, that actually Muslims also celebrate the Nativity, Christmas in a way. They do feel with us as well. And I had kind of also like, we've chosen like what is the nowadays of our wise men. And we thought it would be really cool to have a rap group being our wise men, but they were our wise women because they are a young rap group from the Hesha camp from Bethlehem. And I thought that they are brilliant and they sing about freedom. And I will share with you now what they have been singing. So in a way, like putting all of these things, all of these like people or like groups. I also had a puppet group from Hebron, Khalil, which is also an independent kind of a puppet theater company. So I wanted to show all of these talents in that play. So you can see the whole documentary, of course, online, the Alternativity. But I also downloaded the play because I think the play shows more about the work that I have done with Danny Boyle. So me and Danny Boyle co-directed the work together. But the documentary is speaking about the Waldorf Hotel and the whole process of making this show. Okay, so it's called the Alternativity. Do you want to see some rap? The rap group making advertising for them. Okay. the rap still. This is Mary, Virgin Mary. She has a beautiful voice.
Astrologers tell us that behind every wise man stand an astonished and even wiser woman. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our wise women!
الأحلام سلاح والحرية عندي خلق مش حريات من بلد لبلد حاجز تفتيش على العقول على التحرك على الأغنيات حتى أصل المساحات شو خليني أرفع علم أمسك قلم أكتب أعبر عن ألم عن فرح أكتب القيود شو المفروض شو المكتوب هي حق مفروض عليه بكل الأعراف بالإنسانية وجمعيات الحقوق للأسف غير مطبق معروف صار مش مفهوم بس المعروف عندي إنها الطريق اللي بتخليك إنسان أفضل لا مقابل للحرية حرية هي مقابل حرية هي سلب حرية مش قنابل أسلم على السنابل أطير فراغ شاب صوت البلابل حدودي كل العالم كلامي كل الأفكار اللي عبالي بدي أكون حر أنا من داخلي حرة بدي أكون حر أنا من داخلي حرة أنا من داخلي حرة All I need in this life is to be free, free, free from this cage by any degree. Keep for life, yeah, waiting for me. If only you've seen what my eyes didn't see. Promise after promise, yeah, poverty. Identified with that identity. I wanna fight from a captive till eternity. Under the name of justice and humanity. I wanna live, I wanna learn, I wanna be successful, even if it's stressful. Just for staying alive, for life I'm grateful. I'm right here, and that's what I rap for. All my life I've been paying up prices, depending on luck. So I'm just throwing dices. Years pass by, and time lives lifeless. This is how my life is. This is not how life is.
تسألني عن الحرية زي اللي بيسأل الشمس عن
البرودة
قبل ما تسألني عن الحياة أخرجني من تابوتي أعطيني المجال
ليسرح صوتي.
الحرية دواء للأوجاع غذاء للجياع مفتاح لأفواه تتغير إفراج لعقول تستعبد مش كلام مقدس بأقدام تتدنس حريتي موجودة كتبك مفقودة من حياتي أنا مش ملفت على المكاتب
ولا جندر
أنا بشر ولو لمرة تتذكر الحرية مش إنك تخيرني بالطريقة اللي فيها تستعملني تجبرني على عملي وتستعملني وقت اللي بدك تكسبني وقت اللي بدك تطمعني بس
بقول لك لا
رغم كل القيود
من جواتي حرة من جواتي حرة من جواتي حرة
I thought you're gonna like this song. This is just the final word. Maybe for you to see what's kind of
And think about acting, but they're like very happy they got to do it.
maybe just
Well, they were as happy as pie. They were so, you could see they were enraptured by it, weren't they?
The audience, yeah.
Oh, they were, it was just,
They're just like this,
yeah, it was so,
looking at everything.
that was so cool. It was really nice.
أنا سعيدة كثير اليوم خاصة إنه كانت هي تجربتي الأولى على المسرح بدون الدمى. أنا سعيدة كثير كثير لأنه كان الحضور كثير كبير وأدينا المهمة بنجاح وشكرا كثير لكل حدا شاركنا في التجربة.
What I was pleased about, all of them performed.
Some of them, like, I know that they're very shy, they just like probably wouldn't think about acting, but they're like very happy they got to do it. When Elisa starts to sing, it's just like, I wanted to cry. It's just like, this girl needs to sing and perform, you know? Like, that's what I wanted in this show. For all of us to feel like proud and to have this feeling that we are doing this even in spite of this situation. You know, we're living here. We have this amazing energy and soul and talents and art. You know, that's what remains by the end of the day.
And that's, I think, Banksy painting this last painting. Yeah. Anyways, you can watch that if you want, the whole play or the documentary. But I thought it's a nice moment to show you like some of the choices and the work that I had with Danny Boy, because I really appreciated him. He was coming from a point of view where like I really want to learn rather than imposing his ideas, and he's a great director. Amazing. Yeah, that's it. If you have any comments or if you want to just talk to me in one-to-one, or if you have any questions, let me know. Or